So we're here to celebrate the 8th annual End of Summer Classic to benefit Bear Cove Park, one of the nicest open spaces in Hingham and one of the largest on the South Shore. We started the End of Summer Classic back in like 2007, just trying to benefit the park, make it better. I walk my dogs in here a lot, I run in here a lot, I ride my bike in here, so we get a lot of use out of the park, and we wanted to give something back to the park. So the End of Summer Classic is a 5-mile run, all contained within Bear Cove Park, which makes it very unusual. Most road races are out on city streets, which we find a little difficult because it inconveniences the neighbors, the residents of the town. We like to host races in parks and in open spaces. They can enjoy the outdoors without having traffic and noise and angering the residents. That's why we started this, and it's evolved over the years. We've had it at some times. We've had a 3-mile walk kind of in conjunction with it. We've actually held an event called the Elliptigo Summer Classic. Today we're just going to do the 5-mile race though. It is one of the largest open spaces in Hingham, one of the largest ones on the South Shore. The Back River is the only undeveloped river on the South Shore. If you went to any other river, the North River, the South River, Ware River, there are houses that line the shores. The Fore River, there are factories and power plants, but if you go to the Back River, there are no houses on either shore along the entire length of the river. Very special place. During the 8-year run we've had, I know that we've exposed the park to a lot more people. At one time, this was a park that was kind of the haven for dog walkers. We've kind of expanded its appeal to other types of people. A lot of runners come in here now, a lot of walkers, families, cyclists, and a whole different range of people that used to come here 10 years ago. We're kind of famous for our post-race activities. For one thing, we either do a barbecue or something here right at the park. Some years we rent the South Shore Country Club's big pavilion tent, and we usually have a free beer involved in that and some food. Because it's a Friday evening event, it's just more festive than your average Saturday morning or Sunday morning event. It ends right at sunset. The sun will set right behind the finish line. The runners love that. And it's a great way to start the weekend. If you're working Monday to Friday, it's a great way to end. I used to be a runner, pretty competitive runner back in the day, and I've had some knee injuries which have prevented me from training consistently. So I kind of want to stay involved in the sport, so I thought maybe this is a good idea to stay involved by hosting some road races, organizing some events that benefit from some open spaces and some conservation areas. So that's how it all started, kind of gotten out of hand from there.
I'm the park ranger here, and I like to do anything that has anything to do with the park. You know, the South Shore Conservatory has a run they call the Rhythm Run. I'll help out with that. There's been a number of other races in here that benefit different organizations, and I'm glad to give a hand to all of them. But this one here benefits us, so I really like to get the park looking good, for this one race. So this is the one that really counts. I met John Childs actually walking my dog here about 10 years ago, and we became pretty good friends. And then he decided he wanted to do something to help the park. And this is what he came up with. So I've been doing this for the last 8 years with him. This year, so far, it's really going well. We've got the track in good shape, so looking forward to it. It encompasses 5 miles inside the park. The money goes to benefit things to do in the park. Repairing the roads, buying doggy bags, and a lot of other things too. I mean, not just that, buys flowers for the garden, and whatever we need. I've been here in Hingham all my life. I brought my kids in here when they were 3 and 4 years old, riding bicycles throughout the park. I used to come here as a kid when it was still a Navy base. And so I just love the place. I have a dog, and she rides with me in the truck. Just a fantastic job, and I just wouldn't give it up for anything. I love it here. It brings the community out, for one thing. They get together, they have a great time. After the race, we go over to the South Shore Country Club, give them a little business too over there. It's just a great thing for the community, I think. It helps out the park, and which is a fantastic thing, not just for Hingham alone, but for a lot of neighboring towns. Well, I like to get it, all the area mowed as much as possible. I would get the road in good shape. We trim trees so that the runners don't, have to get hung up on the briars and stuff as they run by. Empty the trash and make sure everything looks good. They can volunteer to, help with the water stations. They can volunteer to help out on the course to direct people in the right direction to go. It's pretty well marked out, but there's a couple of tricky spots, so we can use people there for sign in, helping to park cars, and they can also run in the race, and that helps out too with the donation. Everything helps. You just call in. There's usually posted on the boards here you know, when it's going to be and where to call. I would just like to say that I have a museum in here. It's open this Sunday, the 30th, from 10 to noon, and it kind of tells the story of what this whole place was before it was a park. It was the Hingham Naval Ammunition Depot. I have all kinds of memorabilia and stuff in there from that.
This is the first time I've done this race. I've done lots of other races. This is the first time I've done this race. I've had lots of friends that have done it and really enjoyed it. I signed up for the whole series because I wanted to support one cause in particular. It's the Friends of Hingham Harbor. I think living in Hingham, lots of people use this space, not just from Hingham, but from surrounding communities, and it's fantastic to have this beautiful space with a water view. I have a dog. I love to walk my dog here. I meet friends here. I take the kids here. It's a great asset to everyone to enjoy.
This is the 8th year, and I'm involved because my husband, John Childs, is the race director, and he has a nonprofit company called Old Colony Running Events, which organizes road races throughout the year for different charities. I love Bear Cove Park. We've been coming here for years to walk our dogs, and it's just such a beautiful spot. We enjoy it, so we thought it would be a nice way to give back to the community. I always work the registration desk, and I love it. It's a lot of fun. We get to meet all the runners, and a lot of the same people come back every year, so it's really a great time. I think it's really important because it helps raise awareness of the park, the beautiful area that we have here, as well as help to raise money to go towards the upkeep of the park.
I've been in this race for about 4 years now, and I just love it. It's a great race, great cause. Very pretty, it's quaint, it's quiet, I like it. To prepare for the race, I teach yoga, I run. Being on the healthy side, well, I think it brings everybody together. It's a great family time. It's a good time to bring your family here. It's for a great cause. It's a great ending to the summer. It's a perfect ending to the summer. You bring your family here. You get this great run-in on a Friday night. It's a beautiful night.
This is the first time I'm running it. I'm actually running an ultra marathon in October, so I'm just trying to run more races leading up to that. It looks like a beautiful place to run. It's flat, so it should be fast, and it's a beautiful night, so good time for it. I run about 40 to 50 miles a week, and I'm trying to add races in as part of my regular training. It's a good way to get everybody out. It's a 5-mile race, which everybody can participate in, kind of regardless of age, so it's a good way to bring everybody together.
Well, we're really excited because we are part of the series this year. We are working with Old Colony Running and offering the Harbor Dash. It's the first year that we're launching our own 5K run. That's going to be on September 12th on Petix Island. Well, you can register at the SouthShoreRaceSeries.com, the same place that you can sign up for the End of Summer Classic. And all of the proceeds are actually going to go to support Friends of Hingham Harbor. And we're eventually hoping to set up a marine science scholarship fund with all of the money. So we're really excited about it this year. We actually are including a lot of kids' activities for our race, the Harbor Dash. So there will actually be a kids' half-mile race that you can register for the day of the event. And we'll have face painting and a DJ and bubbles as well, so we hope to make it a family affair. It is the town of Hingham, so the ferry is going to be leaving the shipyard at 9:30 in the morning on Saturday, September 12th, and we'll be coming back at approximately 11:30, and there will be somewhat of a mini after party located on the dock, donated by the Hingham Shipyard Marina. I hope that everybody will come out and enjoy. We really appreciate the support. It's going to be a fun day for all. It's a healthy event, and we appreciate helping to spread the word or come and run yourself.
Just supporting the End of Summer Classic. We brought down some sample shoes to show to the runners and give out some coupons. We're one of the sponsors for it. We've been doing it with them for over 10 years.
We're the only nonprofit race organizer on the South Shore that we're aware of, probably in the state of Massachusetts. 3 additional races in the South Shore Race Series later this summer and fall, right here in Hingham. Next race will be the Harbor Dash on Petix Island, right at the entrance to Hingham Harbor. After that, we have the Road to World's End at World's End, which is probably the nicest property on the South Shore. And the final race in the series is called Run Through Time, which is at the Hingham Cemetery, the only garden cemetery on the South Shore and one of the most unique places around that nobody knows about. It's a very well-kept secret. It all starts with the selectmen and the Bear Cove Park Committee. You have to get permission and deal with a number of issues that are involved, insurance and parking and a number of things. We don't want to spoil this park. One of the things we want to do is preserve the park the way it is. We don't want it to get out of hand. And so we're all on board with that. We want to make this even better than it is now and more attractive place to come. Petix is one of the closest islands to Hingham Harbor. It's actually at the entrance to Hingham Harbor. It's right off of Hull, so we kind of thought that we'd get some Hull people, and we did. And it's just such a historical place, a long history as a military installation and a prisoner of war camp during World War II, and most recently been rehabilitated by the Mass DCR and the National Park Service into one of the gems in the National Park. So we're trying to raise awareness of Hingham Harbor and raise some money for the Friends of Hingham Harbor, an organization that is striving to do better things on the harbor and eventually support a scholarship for some kind of an ocean-based education for a child. 90% of the people came from Hingham, when we did have a small percentage that came from Hull and Weymouth and surrounding communities, but the vast majority were from Hingham. This was the first time that a race has ever been run on this island since it's been rehabilitated. And maybe it might even be the first time ever that a race has been run on this island. They can contact us at Old Colony Running Events. We're the only pure nonprofit running event organizer in the state that we know of. Certainly the only one around here. So contact us through Old Colony Running Events, and we'd love to have you. We have another race coming up on this Thursday night called the Road to World's End, and that's another 5K race. That should be a lot of fun.
I hope to A, finish the race. B, I hope to beat my little sister, but I don't think that's going to happen. And C, I think I just want to take in the great scenery that Petix Islands offers. You know, it brings the whole community out here to actually enjoy the island on such a great day. I'm glad we got great weather for it.
I haven't been here since they redid a lot of the stuff. Everything looks really nice, the new bathrooms and the decks and docks. Everything looks really nice. But yeah, it's been a while since I've been out this way to the Boston Harbor Island. It's definitely a fun race. It's definitely different. You get to take a ferry over and enjoy the boat ride and meet a lot of nice local people.
So we're here for a 5K race on Petix Island, brought to us by the Friends of Hingham Harbor and a number of other sponsors, including the owners of the island, the Department of Conservation and Recreation, the National Park Foundation sponsored, as well as the National Park Service. There's almost like too many reasons why Petix is a great location for this. One, its proximity to the South Shore, and so a great location to get people out to. It's an amazing location many people aren't aware of as well, so people can come and learn about the islands, but also the trail system here is great for being able to get out and get active. The views are probably the biggest part of it, so that you can explore through historic structures from Fort Andrews, 1904 fort that was on the island, but also then getting up onto the hillsides and seeing the campsites and the views of Boston. I think everybody just needs to get outside and get active. I mean, it's a big focus for the National Park Service and all of our partners is just to encourage people to use their parks right in their backyard to be active. But for this location and with social running, I mean, I think it's just a tremendous opportunity right here near to their homes. I just encourage anybody on the South Shore to come on out and enjoy the islands. Petix is sort of closing down right now for the season. Boats to sort of stop running to here, but to come on back in the spring and the summer, especially to enjoy the camping on the islands as well.
Like everything we do with Friends of Hingham Harbor, we really try to make it family oriented. So it's fun for athletes, but also fun for families and little kids. I just saw that there was a great opportunity to get our whole community involved with the harbor. There was, planning activities to get everyone engaged, and it's easy to do. And I think people have welcomed the opportunity. They just needed a reason to get involved.
Initially, John came to me and he thought he wanted to do it on Grape Island. So we did a site visit and we went out to Grape, and Grape's beautiful. It's really close. But I said to him, hey, you want to check out Petix Island? Because I think, we've done all this work out there, and I think it's really a great location for a road race. So we came out here, and he kind of fell in love with it right away. We have the facilities here. We've put so much money into this lately, and we're really hopeful that this is just the start of many, many great events that we're going to have here. Our DCR home is in the shipyard, and we're building a new building there with the T, and the ferry service to the islands comes out of Hingham. I manage Wampatuck State Park too, so I feel like Hingham's our home, and so I was just happy to do it and to further our relationship with the folks in Hingham. It was just a great event, and John and the Friends of Hingham Harbor were great to work with, so we couldn't have asked for a better partner to have our first road race out here.
have a 5K race around World's End in Hingham to raise money for the trustees of reservations. My husband John and I have a nonprofit group called Old Colony Running Events, and we organize road races to raise money for local green spaces on the South Shore. World's End is one of our favorite places to come. It's such a beautiful place to walk, really any season too. We're amazed at the people that come here for these races that have never been here before, so we think it's a good way to raise awareness too of this beautiful property that we have here right in our own backyard. I think the best part about this race is the location. It's just amazing here. It's the view of the Boston skyline, the ocean, you have the carriage pathways, and then of course we have our wine and cheese party afterwards. That's always fun. We always like to end our races with a fun thing, whether it's a beer tasting or a barbecue or a party at South Shore Country Club. So we thought, since World's End is really kind of a high-end place, we thought it would be fun to do a wine and cheese party. So Brady's Liquors in Weymouth donated some wine, and we bought the cheese and crackers and fruit, and we're looking forward to having fun.
So tonight we're here for a road race for the Friends of the Trustees at World's End, and it's a beautiful 5K race, about 3 miles, and we have people of all ages running, people in their 20s all the way up to their 50s. It's a great evening. And people just love this location, and as the sun's setting, they're running, and I don't think there's too much that can be better than that. John and Kathy Childs are great friends of mine, and so it seems like an exciting thing to do. On weekend nights, people have such high energy that it's just fun to be around them, and it's just the energy is very infectious. I think just the love of running, the people just love to go out to all these beautiful spots that they pick and do what they love to do, run, and then they have a little treat afterwards usually, and maybe that helps them run, I'm not sure. I love World's End. I live in Hull. I look over at World's End every night and see the sunset, and it's just such a wonderful place. I love the fact that this is Frederick Olmsted's homestead, who designed Central Park in New York City. And I just love the fact that he loved this place so much, even though he built this beautiful place in New York City, this was the place that he called home. Every race has its own little niche. You know, we had one on Peddocks Island, they had one on Spectacle Island, they have one in the Hingham Cemetery next week. They have this race. People just love to come to World's End. It's part of the trustees of the reservation. It's just known as a place that people love to come and walk around and go for a run. Well, John Childs is the co-owner of Old Colony Running Events, and they could contact him and get involved at any time. Also, Friends of the Reservation, the Friends of Hingham Harbor. There are lots of organizations that sponsor these races, and people can get involved with any one of those organizations.
So today in Hingham Cemetery we're having our first race, and it's called the Run Through Time, 400 Years Through Hingham History. And we're really excited to have the race here because people think of cemeteries as places for the dead. And this is a sacred place, and people bury loved ones here, and they come to visit them and to mourn them and to miss them. But this is also a park. It's 13 acres hard by Hingham Square. We have the only arboretum on Boston's South Shore. We have beautiful sculptures and statuary that are significant pieces of art, and it's just a lovely place to come and contemplate.
Well, it's the culmination of a series of races that were designed to get people into some of the special places here in Hingham that they may not have thought of going to, especially not to run in. There are only probably 3 or 4 races that exist in cemeteries in the U.S., so this is a very unusual event. It's the only one of its kind in New England.
This particular location, with all its twists and turns and sort of labyrinth-like route, is something that would be kind of fun. And so we thought, when John Childs of South Shore Racing Series approached us with the idea, that it would be just a really fun, different kind of race.
We're expecting about 70 runners to come. The race starts inside the cemetery, and it does a 1-mile loop near the Water Street entrance. It exits the cemetery at the South Street entrance, kind of behind the snug. It takes a left there, goes out down to the corner of Main Street and takes a left, goes all the way down to the corner of Water Street, takes another left. At the end of Water Street, you go back into the main gate of the cemetery and do the same cemetery loop again and finish right in front of the newly restored Ames Chapel.
So we're thrilled to have the race here to bring attention to the cemetery and to show people, hey, lots of things can happen here other than funerals. You can have a good time. You can burn some calories. We've had Tai Chi classes up here, all kinds of events, and this is a new one for us, and we're really thrilled to host it.
Well, I came out to this race because I was so excited that it's in the cemetery and it seems so unique. And I walk my dogs here every day. And when I read about it in the paper, I thought, oh, this is just such an interesting race. I've got to check it out.
The cemetery is such a great place to come, so much because it's just so beautiful. You know, people, of course, they know about Hingham Square. They know about all the stores and all the bustle that goes on there. What they may not be aware of is right next to Hingham Square is a place where you can come and just get away from it all, have a peaceful walk, just have a moment to yourself. It's very important for people to know that they have a park-like setting right in downtown Hingham.
One of the most famous things in this cemetery is the Grieving Angel. It's a white Italian marble statue that's beautiful, and it's very well known in the community. There are also 2 Massachusetts governors buried here, and the Secretary of the Navy, many sea captains, war heroes, some of Abraham Lincoln's relatives. The statuary and the trees are just amazing, especially in the fall when the foliage is in full bloom.
I just like the fact that it's a totally different type of run. So I'm not going to try to kill it or win or anything. I really want to take in the tombstones and everything else that comes along with the cemetery. It's just very interesting to me.
Even before we moved here, when we first saw Hingham, I realized, oh my God, this town is a postcard. And it doesn't just look like a postcard, it kind of acts like one. People are friendly to each other. Really, nowhere else that I go, and I've been all over the world, do people say hi to each other on the street, even if they don't know each other. It is really small town America at its best, at what people think small town America is supposed to be, and we have that here.